I did an earlier video about using checkboxes in Excel. I'm just going to take you one step further and talk about how we can reference those checkboxes in a formula, maybe an if formula, something like that. So here's the example I prepared earlier, and if we look at the attended column, if we click on the drop down, you'll see that it picks up those tick boxes as true and false. So anything with a tick in is true, anything without the tick is false. So we can just use those as the way we would use the normal filters. Now that might be quite strange because you might actually expect them to be yes no's, but they're not, they're true and they're falses. Let's say we wanted to do an if function and we wanted to use that column in the if function. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and like any ifs function, I'm going to show you how to plan it. So we're going to use the ifs, the IFS. That's a slightly more modern one than the if one. Both work and both are acceptable, but we're going to use the ifs. So for the ifs, I would need to say this is my logic, and I always like to write this down. So we would say attended equals true. So if the attended is true, they get a certificate. That's what I want, the text I want it to come back with. The other option is that the fact they've attended equals false. And if that is the case, they haven't attended and we need to follow that up. So now I've got my different arguments, my ifs function, and I can start to type it in and I'm not having to keep in my head all of the different levels. I also know that the logic works. So let's add in another column. Just make this a little bit bigger on the screen so you can see it. So we're going to add a column, and let's put in C1. So let's put in comment as my column heading. Because it's a table, it will automatically expand. And let's make this a little bit bigger so you can just see what we're typing in. So we're going to start off with equals IFS and open brackets. And it's quite good, it's prompting us for the different stages. So attended is actually cell B2, so let's click on B2. Because it's a table, it's picking up the column, so it comes up with at attended. That's fine, that data will automatically be copied down the whole table. If I hadn't made it a table, it would be B2. So I'm going to say if attended equals the word, and then we're going to put in the word true. Now with the word true, I don't need to put quotes around it because it is computer generated rather than text that I have typed in. So Excel attended equals true, comma, and remember the commas are used to split up the bits of the function. It tells Excel we're going on to a new part of the function. So if attended equals true, what do we want to do? Well, we're going to tell Excel they're going to get a certificate, and because I'm putting in the text this time, I'm going to put it in quotes. So I'm going to put the quotes in. So let's put in certificate and close quotes, and then we put another comma. When you use the quotes, make sure you do the quotes on the number 2 on the keyboard, so shift and number 2. I have seen various ways of people doing them, but that's the quote it's looking for. Okay, so let's put in the false bit now. So we now can say pick up attended again, so B2, and we're going to say equals false. So again, that is computer generated, so I don't need to put it in brackets, comma, and in quotes we're going to put the text that we want it to return, and then close the quotes, and we've finished the formula, so we're going to close the brackets. Just have a quick look at this. So at the beginning, equals ifs, that is the function, and then attended is the cell or the column it's picking up, equals true, so the attended column has got to be true. After the comma is the text I want it to return, and then the next bit is another comma to separate the parts of the formula. We've got the attended column must equal false, comma, and I haven't realised I haven't put the word up in there, so follow up. Okay, now because it's a table, when I press enter, it will automatically populate the whole column. So that's really handy if you've got a long bit of data. I've only got a few cells, but it's still quite handy. So you now see that I've got certificate and follow up, and if I tick one of these checkboxes, you'll see it's automatically going to change. If I untick one of them, it's going to go back to follow up. And just to help you, so that's how it works. and I'm quite happy with that. I am going to put in here, I use this quite a lot when I'm training, and if I click in the cell and I type in equals formula text, now this allows me to see the text of the formula, so I can then click on C2 and close my brackets. So all I'm doing in here, there's nothing fancy, I'm just saying reveal the formula in text so I can help me revise it. So there we go. So what I've done now in the final column is I'm just showing all the formula really to help you. So if you ever have practiced something and then you think, oh, I'm not sure how I actually got to that, and you want to see your formula in a cell, I'll just write it down here, equals formula text, and then the cell you want. So in our case it was C2, it was obviously in a table, press enter, and there you go. So that will just display the formula, just so you can go back, you can recap, you can look at the different bits of it, and it might help you learn it. I use it a lot when I'm training, and I find it helps them to see it without clicking in and out of the cell. Hope this video has been useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Love to hear what else you want to know about Excel, and how you're getting on with your Excel journey. Thanks for watching.